do it for anyone who thinks they're going deep enough, but they're clearly not.
Yeah, and that's not only tolerance.
Would you say there's some good, like, injury examples included because of X, Y, Z?
Yeah.
That'd be good to include.
I mean, like if people have at the bottom of their squat, I'll have people make sure that they're building, like making sure that they have really good positions until that point, and then once they feel confident with that, then we lower the pin and then go a little bit lower, and then lower the pin and then go a little bit lower.
I'm going live.
I also really like to backload in squats.
Oh, yeah.
Work.
So do you backload it after regular squats?
I've been experimenting with backloaded heavy singles and doubles of pins. I've got some really nice results from that.
Well, I really like doing, like, I might do pin squats as like a repeat work, like, 3x5 or whatever. And then we'll go like a 1x1 pause squat afterwards. So it's like very similar, but it's a little bit closer to squat. And I'm not gonna be able to go heavy, but they can still like go pretty hard. I like that scheme a lot. Pin
I
squats
feel
are really
like I'm
good
using
secondary.
backloaded stuff a lot
Yeah.
lately.
That's great. Backloaded stuff is like, if people can get better at it, it's like guarantees PRs once they go back to front loaded work.
Yeah.
So like if you can get better at that single or double after the hard stuff slowly over time. As soon as you
Assuming
go
you're
back,
not like overshooting the
yeah,
singles, but like,
yeah. And as soon as you go back to like doing front loaded work, it's like,
I also,
first week is nice.
Yeah, potentially that's why I did heavily for the bench.
I also think it's helpful for people's psychology.
Exactly. That's another great
Yeah,
thing.
like-
It gives them
You can
something
do
to
it
look
under
forward
fatigue,
to
yeah.
during like the high volume
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
Completely.
Instead of just like, volume block.
I'm honestly surprised more people don't do backloaded stuff. I don't know too
Oh,
many
yeah.
people who do it as much as like our core coaching group does.
Well,
I
think
didn't know it was so
that when-
unique.
I think when people like look at it from a,
Then it makes
like,
sense.
yeah, it doesn't make sense. Because
Why would you go
people,
heavy after
why would you go
race?
heavy after, yeah,
Yeah.
but that's not necessarily, like, we're not saying go max out, it's
Yeah.
just whatever you have, like,
Yeah.
yeah, you just.
We're not trying to teach you to set a new PR here, but
Yeah, yeah.
cool.
That'd be a really good video actually explaining. I get that question a
See,
lot.
these are the round
Good.
table stuff that I'm
And the whiteboard stuff.
It'd be
We need
great
a
for
rack.
whiteboard.
Go build it.
I can't build
Oh,
it.
let's go.
You don't want me to build it.
I think between you and Brandon, you guys would crush it.
I doubt it.
I think you guys are resourceful.
I think you and Kyle would be better too, or Kyle
Just
alone is
Kyle.
like Rambo.
Yeah.
That's good. Where's
Why
that?
can't we have this on live?
It is live.
Well, you,
You're live.
not
Let me
us.
see. I gotta get on it first.
Man, you are so.
I can't wait for
Oh
the
my
blooper
gosh.
when it's like a serious video and then the camera goes flying.
I know.
And then,
Oh, gosh.
that's hilarious. It's honestly, Ron, really extra of you.
It's
Yeah.
so extra. I know.
It's
But I need to get used to it.
That
See,
is
I
the
can,
extra thing I've
Oh.
seen.
especially for reels and
It's
stuff,
funny
it's
to
gonna
me
be
because
good.
we only have like a 10 by 10 square space in here.
Very good
so
though.
ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
It's that sandal,
It's so brilliant though.
right? It works.
Like I respect
Totally
it, but it
works.
doesn't look very.
Okay, so you, be careful, because you almost just caught yourself on the bar.
We
Okay.
should have a challenge
I'll
to see
be-
who can squat the most
careful.
on that.
That would be funny.
Oh my god.
With a barbell, or are we thinking?
No, it's
Yeah.
it's a 275 weight limit.
Pretty sure that's an
I
example
mean,
of
is it
wasting office resources.
No.
We have a drone that we used once. Are you kidding? Let's get the drone in here.
Oh, I want to use the drone.
That'd be so loud. That thing is so
What
loud.
Do
if
they
you
have
use-
quieter?
What
Like
if you
have
use
an
the
angry-
drone for team
Probably,
training, for
yeah.
vlogs and stuff?
Ah, it'd be so distracting.
For who?
For everyone. It'd be like angry hornets everywhere. It'd be like killer hornets.
Yeah, actually, every time I'm in Hawaii and there are like people on the beach doing that, I immediately think hornets, like something is coming out of the bushes.
Yeah.
Drones are
but then-
weirdly intrusive. The neighbor kid next door has one, and every once in a while I see it come over the fence and it's like looking around like, hey!
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
It's crashed in the backyard a couple times.
My friends who dive in Hawaii say that it's funny how much like treasures you can find because of like drones, GoPros, because people just
That'd be
are trying to take stuff over water and then they
People lose
just,
drones all the fucking time.
Yeah.
All the time.
That's hilarious.
You need a GoPro. Go dive.
I don't know why, I really like the idea though of delivering something to somebody through a drone.
Like a predator missile?
Yes. Or just doing some devious stuff, like dropping a water balloon on somebody or something like that.
I do like that idea too. Very Dennis the Menace of you.
It is.
21st century.
It's
version.
21st century.
We replaced our slingshots with drones.
Have you ever delivered something by drone?
I've never used a drone.
Have you ever sent anything to somebody that's not through the mail? That is through the mail, I mean.
What?
I can't think of it.
You've never sent anything by mail?
Oh, I thought you said
I
other
worded
than
that very.
I thought you said other than
I was
mail.
thinking
can't think of how else I would.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking of something else when I said that.
Yeah, definitely.
We only have one person
What?
on Instagram.
Because we were on 5 minutes late. People had all
I think
decided
we're
to
on
do
like
something
20
else.
minutes late.
That could be it.
Then be you and Cassandra for this one?
For the deal, if I can, yeah, whoever.
Okay.
So, one fault that I wanted to talk about is just here. I don't even know if I can do it. Okay. Just hips coming too high, right? So like you may
Hip
start
shooting
in a
up
wedge
first.
position, and then that, that's horrible.
And then scooping under the bar, under the bear. Hey, can you, you know when people like set tension really hard and the bar comes off the ground, can you do that by rounding your back with this? Because that's what I see so often, and people think they're doing a good job because the bar comes off the ground.
Just
Oh.
paying attention?
I just realized something. Someone brought it to my attention. We're on my live.
I knew it.
Oh, I should have known. Oh, that's what I did wrong.
And you're
I was on my own personal profile. Oh my gosh. But one of the guys that follows the coaching apparently follows my personal page, so he brought it to my attention.
Wow, good thing we didn't go the whole time.
I was wondering, like, why is there only one?
That's really funny.
Should that make me sad?
So if your calves are fatigued in your next coaching or your next client update, we're gonna know why.
That could be it.
Is anyone else focusing on that piercing
Yes.
noise?
That sound, can you hear it?
I can hear it.
I'm sorry.
It sounds like a dog whistle.
Shouldn't be able to hear a dog whistle. Okay, now we're live in the right one.
That's so funny.
Okay, so what do you want me to do?
Like round your back and let the bar come off the ground a little bit, like you're taking tension out. You ever see those guys do it? Kind of.
And then let the bar come off?
Yeah, like you're trying to pull tension out of it. No. Yeah, there you go.
But then my back is still rounded?
Yeah. We're gonna break it today.
Just a thank you to Flag75 for bringing to my attention that we were on my own personal page and not on the virtual coaching page. Just thank you.
That's so funny.
He's over here.
Flag 7-5,
Flag75.
gold leader.
Cool.
And
Standing by. You wanna go 25s? Might not be a bad idea.
How do you turn on that?
With my knees. I'm pushing this thing.
Oh, that's why that's.
You just kind of lean forward with your whole upper body.
How fast can it go?
10 miles an hour. I know. I went in the parking lot, did it. It's pretty cool.
Did you get that specifically for filming?
Yes.
That's hilarious. That's
Because instead of buying a dolly system, you have this, and you can have the same
way
thing
funner.
anywhere you go.
And now we can take that to Casa. Do the drug tour.
I don't. That would be extra and very Portland.
It'd be so much better if you got everybody's orders. So you're just hauling ass with 20 burritos.
Just standing there with them. Let's go anime style. Okay, we're ready.
Are we ready?
I think so. Okay, so tell me again what you want me to do. The two faults are, one where we're just going,
Yeah, like no tension, just
Well-
like you get in position, or what are we talking about? We're talking about wedging, or are we talking about rounding? Or are we just
or wedging
talking
is
about
not
building?
scooping.
Or are we just talking about? I might
There we
be
go.
trying to get onto the Wi-Fi. You might want to turn the Wi-Fi off.
That could be it. Okay, now we're back on. Now everybody left, of course. Okay. Now we're on data, now we're good.
5
Ready when you guys are.
Oh,
Is all this stuff in the background? This looks kind of bad.
Oh, it is.
Ron can go over here.
But
Oh yeah, what side do you want to be on, Ron? You could just move the bar over too.
I could just be right here. Right behind
Oh,
me.
you want to get a
You wanna
side
see this
view.
we're gonna have to move
Oh.
Duffin's kids' shoes.
Yeah.
Hey, I was like, where?
Oh wait, are you going over there? Or are you going?
I was gonna go over here, so then you can go over there.
Oh.
Or do you not like that lighting?
No, that's okay.
Oh,
So
how-
nice.
what's like the, what if you go over a pebble?
That's what I'm
Um,
scared of. I'm like,
It does fine. I actually took it over I opened the door and went out.
You jump.
Front door.
Yeah, can you jump?
No, I can't jump.
that
You
just
could try,
reminded
probably could. You probably could try.
I don't want to try it.
that just reminded me
Brandon
of
wants to try it.
I do not.
I feel like you would bounce off the ground better than any of us. Though. Like I would hit and I would stick. Cassandra would probably like roll a little bit. I feel like you're the most like.
I feel like Cassandra
durable.
would be like a feather. Like, I think she'd be all right.
No. I'd probably end up like rolling and like falling on my head. Not even just like accident, like trying to catch myself. That reminds me of the dream that I had last night. I was really good at skateboarding.
What?
And I was like doing, what is it when you,
Right the rail?
yeah.
You're grinding.
Nice.
Yeah. That is what it's called.
I was just very good at it.
You grind a rail on that?
Yeah, can you, that's all. That's
I
my
would
question.
not
Ollie?
try.
Can you ollie?
This feels like a Scott Pilgrim scene. No. I cannot.
Have you tried?
No.
Well, then you don't know.
I guess I don't.
Do something with that, Ron.
No, it's strictly for work. We're ready to film. Who's ready?
Oh.
Yeah?
They don't even know what we're talking about. Like, they don't even know. Like, Instagram is like,
That's funny, I actually don't.
yeah. 'Cause they-
Everyone stayed on though. It's good. Yeah, they don't know. Should they
Oh,
see?
gosh.
Oh my
Don't
gosh.
topple
Look at that
over.
toe though.
What do we?
Not
How
good.
do we intro this?
Scooping is not, or
Scooping is.
Wedging is-
Wedging is not scooping.
Wedging is not.
Okay.
common term. It doesn't mean this.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. In 3, 2, 1.
Wedging is not scooping in the deadlift. I wasn't anticipating a slow creep.
Ron,
That's the whole point.
your face.
Okay. Well, now that I'm prepared, I told you that you have a real impact on our emotional state on the camera.
I don't know how to be completely
Well, that's
serious.
fine. Now I know that you're doing that.
Okay, I'm gonna do it
Now
again.
we know it goes at
I
different
didn't know where
speeds.
you were gonna end. I was like, is he gonna
Just goes out the door.
Like, I don't know what's happening right now.
Okay, are we ready now? Yes.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know, are
Okay.
we, Ron?
Yes, we are. All right. 3, 2.
Isn't it already going?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like- well, count it down again though.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Wedging is not scooping. What do we mean by that? Cassandra, show them. In the deadlift, a common term or actually a way that we teach the deadlift often is to wedge your hips into the deadlift. And as good as it is when you do it right, it can be disastrous if you do it wrong. When people wedge their hips and they often only focus on the position of their hips and not actually how tension was created in that position. Oftentimes you're going to have people who really round their hips under the bar, and that's what we refer to as scooping, kind of what Cassandra's doing here. And that's going to be disastrous for that lumbar spine. You're going to probably be in a world of hurt after a few sessions. Another issue, or another reason actually that we cue wedge, is so that people don't shoot their hips up too quickly in the deadlift. Okay, show them what that looks like. Nice. I think we've all done that at a time or two, or we've all really struggled with that. But to actually wedge your hips in properly takes more than just the hips. It really takes a building of tension through the legs in the sumo deadlift. We don't often cue wedging as much, at least I don't, in the conventional deadlift, but in the sumo deadlift, it really takes pushing and pressing through your legs to find a position of leverage and tension. Kind of show them what that looks like. It should be hips start in like a pretty good hinged position, and as you wedge into the bar, you're actively pressing up, and that's the point.
and you're pressing up with your legs, you're not just pulling on the bar. So to have an effective wedge, you have to have a ton of tension in your actual legs, not just in your upper body, not just in your lats, and not just in your hips. It has to really come through the knees and the legs. Now, Cass, how do you feel about wedging in the conventional position? Is that a cue that you often use?
I mostly focus on just making sure that they're getting the most out of their hip hinge first,
Yeah.
rather than focusing on the wedge cue, just because I think it's a little bit harder to really imagine like those hips getting closer to the bar with a conventional, whereas a sumo, your hips do get a little bit closer to the bar in that style of deadlift.
That's exactly what I think too. So instead of wedging in a conventional deadlift, we often will think about anchoring the hamstrings. We're finding a really good position from the hip hinge and hamstring tension, and that's just a slightly different cue, though we do have a video on that on our video library. I believe it is called Anchoring the Hamstrings in the Conventional Deadlift. All right, Brandon, Cassandra, signing out.
Look at that.
Did they look different than deadlifts?
Yeah, they did.
I was like, there was a
It's
few.
very, it's very impersonal when you turn away.
You know what you remind? I
You never do
can't.
that in real life.
You remind me of the maid in the Jetsons.
Oh, yeah, okay, okay.
Remind me
Quite a
more of
reference.
Paul Blart on his little, just doing circles in the ball and
That's
stuff.
also really funny.
Uh,
Well, we can't actually see the YouTube.
oh, yeah. Someone should log into YouTube so we can see.
Did my answer make sense?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting.
Well, I only I tossed it over to you because I was like, wait, do I actually use that in the conventional? I kind of think if I did because
That makes sense though, because in the conventional, your hips, like, we're not necessarily looking
don't
for them
get
to get
closer,
close. Yeah.
Yeah, Brandon, do you want to log into the YouTube?
Yeah, I definitely can. I think
Another
that's-
issue that I might talk about just in the caption is if you're not maintaining externally rotated leg position.
Yeah.
But then I'll refer back to the video of foot position that Kyle did for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh. You're doing this on purpose.
No, I'm not. I need the good angles.
Like that.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. I'll monitor it.
You want to set that at your rack? I can definitely on you, by the way. You want to do barbell 25s, 45s? What do you think?
We can do that.
Okay.
All right.
Assuming you're not gonna make me do. What was that video where you were like, that was probably like 10 seconds. You were making me hold a pause squat for 50 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like,
You timed it? That's funny. My bad.
and in the video, Brandon's like, that was just like 10
Time
seconds.
flies in my head. Can you go backwards, Ron, without turning around? Do you have that skill
Yeah.
set yet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was doing it during Cass's thing. Yeah.
Well, this is
I don't like
really
going fast though.
I mean,
Yeah, I might not bring it up one, but let me see your squat height. Let's see.
I'm gonna give him a prompt for questions, Ron.
A prompt for questions?
Like,
okay, that's
Oh,
close.
yeah.
Yeah, that's way too late.
That's like
awesome.
Olympic.
I did on YouTube, yeah.
Oh, I didn't see it.
So yeah, while we're setting up,
Alright,
if you
so
guys have any
this one
questions,
was there.
list them below. I don't know if you can hear me. But,
I also, cue that I'll use for pin squats is actually doing it as quiet as you can. Like it is pins.
I actually really like that one too. I haven't used that in a while, but I love that one.
actually, the night when you're doing the pin squats, I noticed that was like super quiet.
Good.
It was like a little ting. I was like, oh, someone's putting a 2.5 away.
I actually really like that. It's good. You wanted these lower
Oh,
or higher.
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 More on,
I thought you were gonna make me squat.
Yeah.
there,
quite a
I
bit.
was
I can clean it.
Any good questions on
Someone just said, don't film pin squats.
there? Don't film pin
Film
squats.
strengthening the squat with something other than pin squats.
Someone said
Hey,
that?
someone said that? I don't
Is
know.
it-
It's
Pin-
too late.
Is
You're
it
right.
overrated?
Sorry, guys.
Pin squats are just tough. They're not fun.
Too late. I actually, yeah, that's funny.
All right, we'll see if this is right. Pin squat height.
You feel like less of a human on that.
Yeah,
too.
you do. Like
You feel like a
I'm
drone.
almost just like, yeah, I don't know. It's just, there's lots of questions. I'm skeptic.
What do you
Wherever
think?
you are, I'm just like,
What do you think the next level to that is, Ron? What other
The next level is it from this?
Probably a light on it.
Yeah.
No, I'll show you later what the next step would be.
Oh.
I have to explain it. It's literal robotic arms.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, you could put a speaker on there.
that's hilarious.
That'd be
On the
really
wheels,
funny.
moving down the halls.
Yes.
All right. You
All
think
right.
that's correct?
Yeah, I should practice my walkout.
Yeah, it's still a little
Oh,
low.
yeah.
Do you think that's right? You feel good?
It's so low, but.
Yeah, get used to it. Actually, sometimes we'll make people go like as, I'll say like as low as possible without
Man.
rounding back.
Yeah.
So let's go all the way.
That is
Take
low.
it downtown.
Do you think that's good, or do you want to go one higher?
I mean, it depends.
I usually go a little bit higher than that, but
I mean, we could show that as like, but then also,
Probably don't want to adjust it halfway though.
well, so that, yeah, that was gonna be my next, because I don't wanna do faults from down there.
that's fair. Yeah, you want to go one higher?
Do you want to take a question from IG?
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. From King of the Throne. While warming up for a max attempt on any lift, any philosophy you all have on jumps or rep ranges?
I actually think more almost all the time. I think people on average take too big of jumps and actually do too few of warm-ups, especially on like heavy stuff, because they feel like they don't want to waste their energy. But I don't really think that doing like another couple sets or reps actually influences that. I would rather get more practice in than not, for personally speaking, in the way that I would recommend it. What do you guys think? Jumps for maxes?
What you said, I agree.
Yeah.
Some of it is really personal though, once you get more experience building.
I was about to say, I think for the most part, people take too big of jumps, but at the same time, you do have to adapt it to the way you normally warm up, because if you get the advice right beforehand to take smaller jumps and, do quite a bit more, that may actually tax you a little bit. But for the most part, though, you should definitely take smaller jumps, and most people take way too big of jumps. So that is a good general piece of advice for most individuals out there.
I also think that like when you take too big of jumps, especially if you maybe not, or if you don't train, or maybe you haven't trained for quite some time, or you don't test often, you may miss a lot of what your actual potential is, because you may, do one jump and it felt hard, and then but you really want to go for a certain number, so you just go for it, but really you just wasted that max session, and you probably could have gotten a true max.
Oh, I was just thinking about my own personal experience.
A true max, you would have got, you probably, so then now you're gonna fail that top lift, and you're probably just gonna be completely spent from that. And so are you gonna drop down and try another one? Probably not, but
Real world.
Brandon has some experience that he wants to share.
I was going to hit my first 700-pound deadlift. I was like, oh yeah, 695, nice. Then I was like, oh, easy, 725, miss. Couldn't even do 695 again. I was like, I could have just chipped it, but now I can never say that I deadlifted 700. So 695, and I could have just chipped it.
That's so funny. You and Kyle.
Kyle, did I know?
Same.
Because a quarter's like, oh, another quarter, nice, versus a.
And I was there for Kyle. It's so funny because he hit 690, 695, something like that. Kills it.
Yeah.
Reads a velocity advice, gets a bunch of confidence. He goes, oh, I'm definitely going 725. And I go, should you though? Because you can do 725, but if you miss it, you are screwed.
You're done.
And he was screwed.
Such a powerful life
Yeah.
lesson.
Yeah, it is. It is.
The last time I maxed in training, I was going for 3 times bodyweight deadlift, and then I misloaded to like over, so like, well, I didn't get it though, but then
Nice.
it's like,
Yeah,
my
no one
grip
cares
is
about
up.
3.1 times body weight. It's just like
Right. So I tried lowering it to actual 3 times body weight, but I was spent because I wanted that first one so bad,
Yeah.
right? So like everything was just psyched up, and then
Oh,
yeah, there was no way.
yeah, some terrible misloading stories.
Yeah.
Misloading sucks, especially in a deload. Whew.
Do you guys want to answer anything from YouTube before we start?
Let's get it.
Squad?
So question is once a week good for pin squats? Also, train chains and hits. Do you guys recommend pin squatting 1 time per week? One more.
I mean, the way I typically program it is, like you said earlier, a secondary. I really like it as a secondary. I also like putting some heavy work with it. And there's a lot of different examples you can use, but I wouldn't say there's any specific frequency I'd give for all people. There's not really a standard I can think of when it comes to that. But yeah, usually using it as a secondary base killer, using it for some back off heavy loaded work is also really good. It really matters the situation and the person though.
The next question from the same guy says, I've never tried to box squat. Is it really that helpful in strength?
I rarely program box squats.
Yeah.
Against it. Or against the establishment.
Yeah.
If I am programming box squats, it's probably not the traditional box squats that you might be referring to. I may use box squats, I think like maybe the only time that I really programmed box squats is when someone was injured and they were guarded at the bottom of their squat. And so I would have them essentially do like a pin squat where they're not like rocking back on it and then coming back up. So they were just literally going to where they could tolerate that range and they weren't feeling any pinch, no pain at all, but they were still able to go through the movement pattern of a squat. And then once that injury kind of resolved itself, we pulled the box away and then they were able to go a little bit deeper. So that's probably the only time I have programmed box squats in a program.
Yeah,
How about you guys?
Powerlifting, it's very rare for me. It's usually to build tolerance to load during an injury or something along those lines, or to deal with a very specific issue that box squat could help with, but it's very rare for powerlifting specifically or strength sports specifically. I do get a little more frequent with it for like actual sport athletes, but even that it's pretty darn rare. So yeah, I pretty rarely program it except for very specific things.
Yeah, again, going back to injury, I think I use box squats a lot in the clinic, but they weren't trying to be strong for powerlifting, right?
You know, like
It's
400 pound.
Yeah,
box
it's
squats.
like, it was literally just to help improve that motor pattern and then give them that safety net that there's something behind them. But
That's another thing it's really good for, the safety net thing. In a commercial setting, I use them a lot for that, for people who've never squatted before. That'd be another really good point, actually.
I have a major fail on using it as a safety net, but I won't say it on.
Oh,
They
yeah.
go completely backwards.
Now that you've
Okay,
mentioned it.
so I was like, don't worry.
Did you sit down and can't get up?
The
Well,
box pro.
so I was like, there's a safety net, you'll be fine. So they squatted back and then they were like, oh, I can't do it. So then they just leaned back
Yeah.
and then they toppled backwards, like
Oh,
over the
That is
back.
quite possibly the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah.
Actually, going forward would have been worse, like if you just hit your knees.
Yeah, that would be rough too.
Would it be worse though? I mean,
I
like,
don't
because
know.
I mean, at least here you're stuck, but like to like
That's bad.
flip, and then there was like a wall between them.
Did she do a back? Did she go back roll?
Yeah,
That's so much worse. That's
Yeah,
bad.
she-
That's
yeah.
really bad.
luckily she didn't have any weight,
Oh, yeah.
but
oh.
like still. Early personal training days. Ready?
We should do a whole, we should do a whole roundtable on our worst things that we did as personal trainers.
Oh,
One of
here
our
I'd
old
have something
clients
good
are
one.
watching.
That's fine.
Like, yeah, that was terrible. Don't comment on that.
Yeah. They're like, oh, so you thought it was terrible too?
Sarah's,
Thanks.
that's like Sarah, she's like, you used to tell me not to eat salt, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know why I said
My
that.
bad.
I yelled at a gym member for deadlifting in socks, so.
Oh.
I'm
Wow.
not gonna lie,
Okay.
I was a bit of an aristocrat guy when I
Times.
first started, so that's pretty embarrassing. That was pretty hardcore.
Now, was that because of memes or just gym culture in general?
It was just something that I very much prided myself in being a power builder, which is already not a good sign.
Ah, yeah.
So,
Kind of like a
it's
Kevin
long time
Levrone
ago.
type thing?
Yeah, I
or-
just thought more range of motion, more muscle mass, more strength.
It's all true.
It's not completely wrong, but it wasn't great.
Classic.
Alright, you guys might wanna start filming.
Yeah.
I-
2 o'clock.
I know, I'm like, I'm
It's 2
standing
o'clock right
here.
now? Oh, wow. Okay. I'm gonna, because that chair and thing is there, So I'm gonna have to get from this side.
Okay, do you want me to?
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe right there. And I can move over.
Look at that. Sorry. Did you see that hip action? He was like, I'm gonna move over.
There was a question, IG. Taking questions, yes, after we film this video.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Okay,
we are very distracted.
all right, ready? In 3, 2, 1.
Today we are filming one of our favorite squat accessories, the pin squat. We're gonna cover a few faults here and then cover at the end how we actually program it. Cassandra, why don't you go ahead and get onto the barbell for us? So one of the first faults that we very commonly see is a bounce off the pins. She's gonna try to demonstrate here without hurting herself. Just like that. So this really hurts the benefit we get out of this exercise by bouncing it off the pins. Another really common one is hitting the pins, going a little bit too deep and losing tension at the bottom, just like that. Again, we want to keep that tension at the bottom, maintain good position. Just like that, beautiful. And then the last one I would say, the last one I would say is just going way too fast through the movement and just slamming that barbell on the actual pins really, really hard. There we go, really good one there. Go ahead and rack it for us for a second. Relax for just a minute. So when we see those kinds of faults, this really hurts the benefit we get out of this exercise. What we're looking for is a very soft touch at the bottom, a dead stop off the pins, and maintaining good tension and good position as you're on the pins to get the maximal benefit out of this squat variation. Cassandra, why don't you go ahead and give us a good example? And some of the things you're going to notice is it's very soft noise. There's not a big slam at the bottom or anything of that nature. She keeps good tension and she's not going farther down than she needs to. Beautiful. Go ahead and rack it for us. Awesome. That's how it should look, that's how it should sound, and that's how it should be performed. How would we include that into programming, Cassandra?
Let me catch my breath. So I like to utilize pin squats for clients who may not have great control as they approach the hole of a squat. Maybe on their way down, they start to lose tension and they just kind of plop into the deepest position they can get. They may not even realize like what is their parallel and what's below parallel. So I really just want to bring that awareness and maintaining good position and control as they reach that bottom position. I may start higher with pin squats, and then as they build that control through those positions, I'll start lowering the pin to their appropriate depth.
Yeah, a lot of fantastic ways we can use this. Also really good for people that just try to use muscle elasticity way too much. Just again, getting better control towards the bottom of that range of motion. I think that's about it.
It is tiring to do a lift wrong.
It is.
I was like,
Really
I realized
is.
I said, let me catch my breath, like kind of embarrassed that I said that after like one rep of 135. But it's really, to do it wrong, I was like having to anticipate like, okay, hold on. How do I do this?
It's a little mentally fatiguing too.
Yeah.
You got to think really hard to do something outside of how you normally do it.
Well, and then why I got stuck was because you said like beautiful. So I thought maybe like, wait, was I supposed to do that rep right? Because I did it wrong.
No,
And then
it's
so
beautifully
like,
wrong.
oh, okay, yeah. So then, so I like stayed there, but because I lost tension, I was like, oh, crap.
It's hard when you lose tension at the bottom and come out of the pin squat. Yeah, beautifully wrong. My bad. I should have just said terrible or something.
Here's a question for you guys. It says, do you always recommend the eccentric phase of the pin squat? Any advantage to starting from the bottom?
Yes, I always like, I can't think of one time that I've done it. There's a name for it. I can't think of it, but I know the variation you're talking about, just starting off the pins instead of performing the eccentric. But no, we want to take this as an opportunity to practice your walkout, practice your unrack, and most importantly, practice your eccentric. All these come with major benefits to the actual squat. Starting off the pins, I believe, defeats some of the purpose for it. I can maybe see some argument for starting off the pins with specific sport athletes. I do see it sometimes performed at big universities with wrestlers and things of that nature. But at the same time, I would very much bias towards doing a full-on squat rather than starting off the pins.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be like a certain tempo, but we just want that control. I think it would be really hard to just focus on your normal squat speed with like going down to a pin, because then you're probably going to run into the issue of either like hitting the racks really hard and then bounce and then having to like gain control of the bar on your back. But again, it's just focusing on the eccentric in the sense of just being in good control of it.
And starting off the pins, I see a lot of issues with bracing too. It's really hard to start off the pins, get good bracing, get good all of the mechanics we need for the squat. More often than not, when someone starts off the pins, even if there's a reason for them to, it doesn't end up being the prettiest squat because they can't build good IAP or do any of the fundamentals we need to have during a loaded movement.
So one thing with the pin squat is that it's not just to stop you or be used as a safety net. You still have to maintain good positions. And so sometimes, speaking to his point about people who may not have good bracing mechanics at the bottom, they'll do a pin squat and they'll go through the motion, but then they'll get to the bottom. They're like, hey, I did my pin squat. But when you watch them do it, they're just they're not actually maintaining that intra-abdominal pressure at that bottom position off of the pins, which is the fault, I guess, we talked about. But, yeah.
That's all I have.
These lights are really hot.
Are they? I think it's just because it's all squats
And deadlifts.
and deadlifts.
Yeah, you've done a lot of
A
examples.
lot of wrong examples.
Yeah.
Someone said they were going to ask a question afterwards. I don't want to read their username though. Maybe I should. But Saurus, if you still have a question, you can ask it now. Hopefully that means they don't have sleepy glutes. Isn't that right, Cassie?
But or glute amnesia.
Right. No, they have awakened glutes. Glutes of a dinosaur. Nothing on your end? I guess that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Wow, this camera on the
Sweaty in the video.